Hi, welcome. This is Ethan Wicker for EMS 472, the video project part 1. So today we're going to be talking about writing the equation of a line given 2 points. You're my tutee, I'm your tutor. Let's get started. So, to write the equation of a line given 2 points, we first need to know a little bit about equations of lines. Today we're working with slope-intercept form of a line. The slope-intercept form of a line takes the form y is equal to mx plus b. It's called slope-intercept form because the m here represents your slope and the b represents your y-intercepts. To explore these concepts and to learn a little more about writing the equation of a line given 2 points, let's move on. So we're going to begin with a real world example. We're going to figure out the number of pizzas. We're going to figure out the equation for a line of the number of pizzas made during a game day. State football starting. So we're going to pretend it's a football game and find out how many pizzas a pizza shop will make from the equation of that line. A football game is typically about 4 hours. So the x-axis represents time here, and the y-axis represents number pizzas made. So we're given 2 points. The points we're given are 2, 60, and 4, 100. So the 2 and the 4 are the x coordinate, the 60 and the 100 are the y. So 2 is in hours, and the 60 and 100 are number of pizzas. So at 2 hours, there are 60 pizzas made, and at 4 hours, there are 100. So we're going to find an equation to represent this. So we know we have the slope-intercept form, which takes the form y is equal to mx plus b, where m is slope and b is the y-intercept. So we need to find a few things. We need to find these values. If we find our m and our b, we have the equation of a line. So how can we find the m and the b? Well, I told you m was slope, which is also equivalent to rate of change. They're used interchangeably with a linear form, the linear equation. Slope and rate of change are the exact same thing. My phone's about to die, so we'll see. So let's find the rate of change of our equation, of our line, excuse me. So to do that, let's kind of figure out how many pizzas are made per hour. So let's figure out how many pizzas are made per hour. So how about we do the change in number of pizzas over change in time. So that's change in number of pizzas over change in time. We can write as delta pizzas over delta time. This guy here is a delta. It means change. So our change in pizzas will be our biggest piece of value, 100, minus our smallest value, 60. So that's 100 minus 60. And our change in time will be our biggest time value, 4, minus our smallest time value, 2. So that is 4 minus 2. We could also flip-flop them as long as we kept them in the same order. It really doesn't matter. But 100 minus 60 makes more sense, and 4 minus 2 makes more sense. So if we do the math here, we get 40 over 2, which is 20. So we just found our rate of change to be 20. Cool. So that's our m value. So now we need to find b. I said previously b is the y-intercept. So how do we think we can find b? We can do a few things. We can maybe plug in 0 for x. It's the y-intercept. So the curves where your x value is 0, so it's on the y axis. But if we do that, we're still missing a few values. So how about we're still missing the value right here. We don't know what the y would be. We have the m and the x would be 0, and finding b, still the y. So let's try something different. Let's try to plug in a point we have and our m value and solve for b. So I'm going to pick the point 260 because the numbers are a bit smaller. And this is my x value and my y value once again. And we have m, so I can plug in the y I have, the m I have, and the x I have, and solve for b. So doing that, we get slope intercept form once again. We get 60 is equal to 20, which is m, times my x value, which is 2 here, plus my unknown b. So do the math on this, we get 60 is equal to 40 plus b. So check 4 to the left, and we get b is equal to 20. So the equation of this line here is y is equal to mx plus b. M is 20, so 20x plus b is 20. There we have it. There we go. So what this says is the pizza shop will make 20 pieces per hour, and at hour 0 there are already 20 pieces made. The pizza shop, it's a good company. They make pizzas beforehand because the game starts at kickoff. You know, the game starts, pizza when it starts. You can see our graph is above the x-axis at time 0 and at -1 hours. So 1 hour before the game, the shop begin making pizzas. Is represented right there. So let's do a different example that is a little simpler and is not about pizzas. How about that? So our second example is a little similar, just different points. So let's do the exact same thing as before and find the slope and find the find the slope and find the y-intercept. So my slope-intercept form once again is y is equal to mx plus b. M is my slope, which is also my rate of change. M is slope, and we can write this as y2 minus y1 over x2 minus x1. Previously, we said change in number of pizzas every change in time, and then we said delta pizza, delta time. Well, here we said y2 minus y1 is x2 minus x1, which is equivalent to delta y over delta x in notation. But we're going to stick with this guy right here. So y2 minus y1, x2 minus x1 just represent points of the form x1, y1, x2, y2. They're slight generic points. So let's pick our points, which in this case are 2, 0 and 8, 4. And let's keep the order the same. It doesn't matter which goes first, but I'm going to put the biggest point first to be a little simpler. So the y value of my largest point is 4. The y value of my smallest point is 0. So my m is going to be y2 minus y1, which is 4 minus 0, over x2 minus x1, which is 8 minus 2. Minus 2. Do the math, and we get 4 over, what is that, 6, which becomes 2/3. Awesome. So we have m. So once again, let's find our y-intercept. Looking at the graph, we can see the y-intercept is probably going to be negative because it occurs below the x-axis. So let's find what it is. Let's see if I grab my graph well. So using the exact things earlier, I'm going to plug in the point. I'm going to plug in the point 2, 0. I'm going to plug in my known value of m now to solve for b. So y is equal to mx plus b. I'm using the point 2, 0. So 0 is y. So 0 is equal to 2 over 3, which is my m value, times x, which is 2, plus b. So do some math, we get 4 over 3 plus b, subtract it over, and we get b is equal to negative 4 over 3. So a b value, an m value, so we can write the equation of this line given 2 points, and that will going to be y is equal to 2 over 3 minus 4 thirds. Whoops, forgot my x. So in our first example, we made some pizzas, and we found that there are 20 pizzas made per hour, and the y-intercept is 20, which represents the number of pizzas made at hour 0. In our second example, we found the slope, or the rate of change, to be 2 over 3, and the y-intercept to be negative 4 over 3. So what that means is when the x value is 0, our y-intercept is negative 4 over 3, which as we thought would be a negative value because it's below the x-axis. And for every 1 unit you go right, you get 2/3 units up. So the slope of the rate of change is 2/3 in the positive direction. Thanks for watching. Hope you enjoyed it. Have a good one.